Josh coming at you from theawakenedstate.net. Today, let's talk about heart shifts. So, for the most part, when we really think about the heart chakra, where does our thoughts usually go? Immediately, we always go to the heart chakra is about love, the heart chakra is about relationships, the heart chakra is about really defining our self-love and our capacity for self-love. So today I want you to think just a little bit deeper and expand your capacity of what you know about the heart chakra. So when we think about the heart chakra, we usually go to love and self-love and self-care and all of these things. But I want you to take it one step further into realizing that the heart is often about our emotional relationship to ourselves. And this is something that governs your entire life. So the heart chakra is incredibly powerful. I mean, all the chakras are really, really powerful, but the heart chakra is the bridge. The heart chakra is the thing that connects the entire system. And when we can't understand how to connect the system correctly, that's when we are most out of balance. That's when we are most out of alignment. And it can really influence and show up in all of our relationships, not just our romantic relationships. So what I want to do today is I want to take you back a little bit, since it's Mercury retrograde still, and I'm just feeling nostalgic, I guess, to think about. So my entire journey, everything started with my heart chakra. And understanding my heart chakra is what created all of this. What the awakened state is, what I do, who I am, everything started from the heart chakra, because there was a lot of wounding there. There was a lot of self-hatred. There was a lot of lack of acceptance. There was a lot of body shame. And all of these things unraveled when I started to heal my heart chakra. And so the heart chakra for me, it set me on the path of spiritual awakening. It's what started snowballing into my life, creating, the best romantic relationship of my life. It started snowballing my love of self. It started snowballing my acceptance of who I am. And this became something that I noticed that the more I began to work with the heart chakra, I started to tap into things that were much deeper than just self-love or even just relationship work. And instead, I began to see that the heart chakra really influences our manifesting. It influences our potential of how we accept in the good in our life. So when we think about this, we have standards and boundaries that we are setting for our life. These are literally the unconscious rules and standards and boundaries that you have created in your life. Whether you are conscious of them or unconscious of them, you have those standards and boundaries dominating your sense of life. And how the world is choosing to essentially respond to you, how it's choosing to literally magnetize through you. And it shows you this dynamic of how you're giving and receiving with life. So I invite you to take one step further into understanding the heart chakra is a lot more than just loving yourself. It's about understanding your profound sense of worthiness of self, and understanding that as you cultivate that sense of love and acceptance and abundance of who you are, you start to naturally raise your capacity to receive and give in the world. And I feel like the heart chakra, for me, has this really beautiful conversation around understanding the mirror and understanding how our relationship dynamics influence all of our dynamics. Because how you're doing one thing is very likely how you're doing everything. So what we have to realize is that the heart chakra really shows us this mirror, and it shows us this mirror in everything we do. It shows us this mirror in how we take action. It shows us this mirror in how we show up. It shows us this mirror in how we are presenting ourselves in our relationships. It shows us the mirror of how we're projecting our emotions in our relationships. It shows us the mirror of everything. And when we look at it like this, the heart chakra is literally the most powerful chakra because it bridges the higher chakras and the lower chakras together. It's the placeholder of how we communicate higher consciousness and bring it into the physical world. So it is no wonder that when we experience a spiritual awakening, we are most impacted by our heart chakra, because it is showing us the merging of the physical world and the spiritual world together. It's showing us the worthiness piece where we are one with divine consciousness. It's showing us the entire process of how we are creating those standards and those boundaries in our life. And it's also showing us a huge part of who we are when we decide to bridge the gap between the spiritual realm and the physical realm, and we allow ourselves to truly like amp up that space, and we start increasing our standards, we start increasing our boundaries, we start dominating our own energy, and now we're starting to move in a giving and receiving dynamic that is moving and flowing through in alignment of who we are. So when we just say, go love yourself, we have to realize that the heart chakra is way more complex than that. The heart chakra is so much more than just saying, well, I love myself today, so everything's all hunky-dory. No, it's about understanding the layers that you have created around the heart chakra. It's about understanding what are your standards, what are your boundaries, how are you presenting yourself in your giving and receiving capacity? Is there an equal energetic exchange going on? Because that will show you a lot. How you're doing one thing is how you're doing everything. And that will display in how are you showing up in your heart chakra. Are you overly giving, or are you under giving? Are you overly receiving and not giving, or are you overly receiving? Or if you're over giving and under receiving, or are you over receiving and under giving? That's what I want to say. All right, it is so hot, and oh my gosh, I'm like sunburned if you can't tell. Okay. But basically, the heart chakra shows us so much about like really getting clear on those standards and those boundaries, and showing us like when we really get this, like it's about this acceptance of self. And that acceptance of self is influencing your manifesting. So when you think about it like this, you are always giving and receiving simultaneously. This is an energetic conversation that you're creating with your reality, like on a 100% basis of every second of your life. You're creating a giving and receiving dynamic in your conversation. And that is being like, it's like a mirror. It's a mirrored conversation that you're having with reality. It's a mirrored conversation that you're having with the people around you. It's a mirrored conversation that you're projecting those emotions onto other people around you. It's a mirrored conversation that you're talking and illustrating what you want to give and receive through those dynamics in your life. So let's take it one step further. The heart chakra isn't just about relationships. It's also about the emotional relationship you have with life. It's about how you're choosing to create the standards and boundaries for your life. So it's interesting how it can be almost like this, and I don't want to be like arrogant and say this, but it's almost like when we think about the heart chakra as just about self-love, or even just like these really simple concepts, it's like only like the kindergarten understanding of the heart chakra. Like you have to take it really deep and realize that the hidden gem of the chakra of the heart is self-acceptance. And it's the acceptance of allowing in the good in your life and raising those standards and boundaries of the energetic mirror you are creating in your life. And so when we get this like really crystal clear, it becomes so obvious that if you really look at how you're creating a mirrored conversation with reality. Okay. So this is something that is a concept that has stayed with me since my awakening. It's a concept that we know, but we don't really always embody it, or we don't always have such a transparent awareness around. And that's the concept of the mirror. And it's the concept of the law of correspondence, as above, so below, as within, so without. The mirrored conversations you're creating with reality are also reflective of what you're giving yourself. They're always, it's a mirrored conversation that you're creating with who you are, how you're raising your standards, how you're raising your boundaries, how you're illustrating your life, how you're connecting to your co-creative power within you. And all of this is dominated around the heart, because the heart is showing you basically, how are you choosing? How are you choosing your standards? How are you choosing what you're expecting? How are you choosing what you're receiving? How are you choosing what you're giving? What you're giving to others, what you're giving to yourself, what you're giving to the world? What words are you giving to the world? What statements are you giving about your life? Like, this is so much deeper than just go love yourself, because the acceptance of self is showing you that it's truly about merging the spiritual realm and the physical world together. Okay, so to summarize, basically, my number one tip for you today is I want you to step into looking at your own mirror. What is your current mirror saying? What is your current mirror saying? And how can you start to change the mirror? How can you start to look at those relationship dynamics, those words you're saying about your life? What are you doing with your standards and boundaries? I want you to start bringing more awareness to these concepts, because while the heart chakra is about love, at its core, it's also about giving and receiving, and understanding our dynamics and standards and boundaries of what we're giving and receiving to our life, because those are the core conversations that you're having with reality. So this is a topic I will be going incredibly deep in my new live mini workshop, Heart Awakening. So you'll be able to check out more information on that below, and I will see you guys next week.